7 Secret Spiritual Codes that Control Financial Abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn. There exists within the fabric of the universe 7 sacred spiritual codes that govern the flow of financial abundance into human experience. These are not mere concepts or wishful thinking, but immutable spiritual laws that have operated since the beginning of time, waiting for humanity to discover their power and align with their divine frequency. Florence Scovel Shinn understood these codes intimately, and through her profound spiritual insights, she revealed that every person possesses the divine birthright to activate these codes and transform their financial reality completely. The first truth you must grasp is that abundance is not created by human effort alone, but by the perfect alignment of consciousness with divine law. Money, in its truest spiritual sense, is simply energy in physical form, a symbol of the infinite supply that flows from the God-mind into manifestation. When you understand that you are not separate from this infinite source, but rather a channel through which divine abundance naturally flows, you begin to crack the code of effortless prosperity. Consider this profound spiritual truth. I am one with infinite supply. All that the Father has is mine, and I claim my divine inheritance now. This is not merely an affirmation, it is a recognition of your true spiritual identity. The poverty consciousness that has dominated human thinking for centuries is nothing more than a massive illusion, a collective forgetting of our divine nature. The moment you remember who you really are, a spiritual being having a human experience, connected to limitless abundance, the first spiritual code begins to activate in your life. Your relationship with money reflects your relationship with God. If you believe in lack, limitation, and struggle, you are unconsciously rejecting your divine heritage. But when you align your consciousness with the truth that abundance is your natural state, you open the channels for prosperity to flow freely. The universe does not know lack. Only humans have invented this concept through generations of fear-based thinking and programming. The spiritual codes that control financial abundance operate through the power of your word, the clarity of your vision, and the unwavering faith in your divine supply. These codes respond not to desperation or neediness, but to the calm certainty that comes from knowing your true spiritual identity. When you speak from this place of divine knowing, when you claim your abundance with the authority of one who understands their connection to infinite supply, the universe has no choice but to respond in kind. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized the importance of speaking your word with power and conviction. Your word is your wand, and through it you command the spiritual forces that govern abundance. But this power must be wielded from a place of spiritual understanding, not from ego or desperation. The codes respond to the vibration of certainty, not the frequency of fear. As we embark on this journey together, prepare your consciousness to receive revolutionary truths that will shatter every limiting belief you have ever held about money and abundance. These 7 spiritual codes have been hidden in plain sight, waiting for those brave enough to transcend the illusions of the material world and step into their divine power as conscious creators of unlimited prosperity. The first spiritual code that controls financial abundance is the code of divine recognition. This code requires you to recognize and acknowledge that all supply comes from one source, the infinite intelligence and love of the universe itself. Until you truly grasp this fundamental truth, you will continue to chase abundance through external means, remaining trapped in the exhausting cycle of human effort without divine support. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that recognition is the beginning of all spiritual demonstration. When you recognize that your employer is not your source, that your business is not your source, that your investments are not your source, but that God is your source, you activate this first code. My supply comes from God, and God is the inexhaustible, unfailing abundance of the universe. This recognition shifts your consciousness from limitation to limitlessness, from fear to faith, from scarcity to spiritual certainty. But recognition alone is not enough. The second spiritual code is the code of powerful declaration. Your word carries tremendous creative power, and when you speak from a place of spiritual authority, You set into motion the spiritual forces that govern abundance. However, most people speak their word from a place of doubt, fear, and contradiction, thereby neutralizing their creative power. The code of powerful declaration requires you to speak as one who knows, not as one who hopes. I do not hope for abundance. I claim it. I do not wish for prosperity. I command it through the power of divine law. Your words must be definite, positive, and spoken with the authority of one who understands their divine nature. Wishy-washy affirmations filled with doubt will not activate this code. You must speak with the same certainty that you would use to declare that water is wet or that the sun shines. When you declare, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in perfect ways," you are not begging or pleading. You are commanding spiritual law to respond to your word. This is not arrogance. It is the proper use of your divine authority as a child of the Most High. The third spiritual code is the code of divine circulation. This code operates on the principle that abundance must flow freely to continue flowing. Hoarding, withholding, and stinginess block the channels of supply, while generous giving and sharing keep the abundance flowing in an endless cycle of divine circulation. Florence Scovel Shinn understood that giving is not a sacrifice, but a spiritual investment that guarantees multiplication. When you give with joy, wisdom, and faith, you activate the spiritual law of circulation that ensures your supply never runs dry. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over. This is not merely a nice sentiment, it is immutable spiritual law. The code of divine circulation requires wisdom in giving. You do not give from a place of fear, obligation, or manipulation, but from divine guidance and spiritual understanding. When you feel guided to give, you give immediately and joyfully, knowing that this action keeps the cosmic wheels of abundance turning in your favor. These first three codes work together in perfect harmony. Recognition awakens your consciousness to the truth of infinite supply. Declaration commands this supply to manifest in your experience. Circulation ensures that the flow of abundance continues uninterrupted. Master these three codes, and you will begin to see remarkable changes in your financial circumstances. The fourth spiritual code that controls financial abundance is the code of joyful expectancy. This code operates through the spiritual law that states, what you expect with unwavering faith and joyful anticipation must come to pass. Expectancy is not wishful thinking or idle hoping. It is the calm, certain knowing that your good is already on its way to you. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that expectancy is the magnetic force that draws your demonstrations to you. When you live in joyful expectancy of your financial breakthrough, when you wake each morning knowing that this could be the day your abundance manifests, when you prepare space in your life for the prosperity that is coming, you activate this powerful spiritual code. The code of joyful expectancy requires you to act as if your abundance is already assured. This means preparing for prosperity even before you see it. Clean out your wallet and organize your finances as if more money is coming. Make space in your home for the abundance you are expecting. Dress and carry yourself as one who knows their prosperity is guaranteed by divine law. I expect unlimited abundance to flow to me now. I prepare joyfully for the prosperity that is mine by divine right. This expectant attitude creates a magnetic field around you that draws opportunities, connections, and resources into your experience. The universe responds to your faith by providing evidence to support your unwavering expectancy. But expectancy without gratitude is incomplete. The fifth spiritual code is the code of transformative gratitude. This code operates through the recognition that gratitude is not just an attitude, but a spiritual force that multiplies whatever you appreciate. When you are genuinely grateful for what you have, no matter how little it may seem, you create the vibrational frequency that attracts more abundance. True gratitude, as Florence Scovel Shinn understood it, is not dependent on circumstances. You do not wait until you have abundance to be grateful. You are grateful now, in this moment, for the abundance that is already flowing to you. You give thanks for bills because they represent your ability to receive and pay. You bless your current income because it demonstrates that you are already in the flow of divine supply. I give thanks for the lavish abundance that is now manifesting in my life. I am grateful for every dollar, every opportunity, every blessing that flows to me. This gratitude is not superficial positive thinking, but a deep recognition of the spiritual truth that you are already blessed beyond measure. The code of transformative gratitude requires you to find something to appreciate in every financial situation, even the challenging ones. When you can bless a setback as a setup for a comeback, when you can give thanks for a closed door because it means a better door is opening, when you can appreciate the lesson in every financial experience, you transform your entire relationship with money and abundance. These two codes, joyful expectancy and transformative gratitude, work together to create an irresistible magnetic force for abundance. Expectancy draws your good to you, while gratitude multiplies it once it arrives. Together, they create a spiritual momentum that accelerates your financial transformation beyond what human effort alone could ever achieve. The sixth spiritual code that controls financial abundance is the code of divine timing and perfect order. This is perhaps the most challenging code for human understanding, because it requires complete surrender to divine wisdom regarding the when and how of your abundance manifestation. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized repeatedly that divine timing is always perfect timing, even when it doesn't align with human expectations or desires. The code of divine timing operates on the principle that there is a perfect season for every financial breakthrough, a precise moment when all elements align to bring forth your abundance in the most beneficial way possible. Trying to force abundance before its appointed time is like trying to pick fruit before it's ripe. You may get something, but it won't be the full, sweet abundance that patient faith would have delivered. I trust in divine timing. My abundance comes at the perfect moment, in the perfect way, for my highest good. This declaration requires tremendous spiritual maturity because it asks you to release human anxiety about deadlines, pressures, and urgent needs, and instead rest in the certainty that divine intelligence orchestrates all things for your benefit. Many people sabotage their abundance demonstrations by trying to dictate to the universe exactly when and how their prosperity should appear. They set arbitrary deadlines, demand specific amounts by certain dates, and become frustrated when their timeline doesn't match divine timing. This resistance actually slows down their abundance because it interferes with the perfect unfolding that spiritual law wants to provide. The code of divine timing teaches you to work diligently toward your goals while simultaneously releasing attachment to specific outcomes and timelines. You do your part, speak your word, take inspired action, maintain your consciousness of abundance, but you allow divine intelligence to handle the details of manifestation. Perfect order is the companion aspect of this sixth code. Everything in the universe operates according to divine order, including your financial abundance. When you align with this perfect order instead of fighting against it, you discover that abundance flows to you with ease and grace, often in ways you never could have imagined or planned. Perfect order means that every financial experience you have, including the challenging ones, serves your highest good in some way. The delayed payment teaches you patience. The unexpected expense reveals areas where you need to strengthen your consciousness of supply. The financial setback clears the way for a much greater abundance that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. There is perfect order in my financial affairs. Every experience serves my highest good and leads to greater abundance. This level of trust requires deep spiritual understanding, but it is the hallmark of one who has truly mastered the spiritual codes of abundance. When you fully activate the code of divine timing and perfect order, you stop struggling against circumstances and instead flow with the divine current that naturally carries you toward your highest prosperity. You recognize that delays are not denials, that detours often lead to destinations better than you originally planned, and that divine intelligence is always working behind the scenes to orchestrate your financial miracle. The seventh and final spiritual code that controls financial abundance is the code of vibrational mastery and conscious creation. This code represents the culmination of all spiritual understanding regarding abundance. The recognition that you are not a victim of circumstances but a conscious creator of your financial reality through the mastery of your vibrational frequency. Florence Scovel Shinn understood that everything in the universe is vibration, including money and abundance. Your financial circumstances are simply a reflection of your predominant vibrational frequency. When you master your vibration, your thoughts, feelings, words, and beliefs, you become a conscious creator of unlimited abundance. The code of vibrational mastery requires you to take complete responsibility for your financial reality. Not blame responsibility, but creative responsibility. You acknowledge that your current financial situation, whatever it may be, is a perfect match to your past vibrational offerings. This recognition is not meant to induce guilt or self-judgment, but to empower you with the understanding that if you created your current reality, you can absolutely create a new one. I am the conscious creator of my financial reality. I choose thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that align with unlimited abundance. This declaration marks the moment you step into your true spiritual power as a deliberate creator rather than an unconscious reactor to circumstances. Vibrational mastery involves constant monitoring and adjustment of your internal frequency. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts of lack, limitation, or financial worry, you immediately redirect your attention to thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and divine supply. When you feel emotions of fear, anxiety, or desperation about money, you consciously shift into feelings of trust, expectancy, and joy. This is not positive thinking or denial of current circumstances. This is conscious creation through deliberate vibrational alignment. You acknowledge what is while choosing to vibrate in harmony with what you desire to create. You look at your current bank account balance without emotional charge while maintaining your vibrational alignment with unlimited abundance. The practice of conscious creation requires you to become aware of the stories you tell about money and abundance. Are your stories filled with struggle, limitation, and difficulty? Or do they reflect ease, flow, and divine supply? The stories you consistently tell become your lived reality, so choose them wisely. Money flows to me easily and abundantly from multiple sources. I am a magnet for prosperity and opportunity. These are not just words. They are vibrational commands that shape your reality when spoken with feeling, faith, and frequency. The code of vibrational mastery also encompasses your physical actions and environmental choices. You align your physical world with the abundance you are creating vibrationally. You treat money with respect and appreciation. You organize your financial affairs with care and attention. You make decisions from abundance consciousness rather than scarcity thinking. Conscious creation means you no longer wait for circumstances to change before you feel abundant. You feel abundant now, and circumstances change to match your vibrational frequency. You embody the energy of prosperity before you see it in your physical reality, knowing that the seen world always follows the unseen world of consciousness. When you master this seventh code, you realize that you have always been the creator of your financial experience. Now you create consciously, deliberately, and with full awareness of your divine creative power. As we reach the culmination of this spiritual journey, you now possess knowledge of all 7 secret spiritual codes that control financial abundance. But knowledge without application remains merely intellectual understanding. True transformation occurs when you integrate these codes into your daily life and allow them to become the foundation of your new financial reality. The integration of these 7 codes, divine recognition, powerful declaration, divine circulation, joyful expectancy, transformative gratitude, divine timing and perfect order, and vibrational mastery and conscious creation, creates a spiritual momentum that carries you inevitably toward unlimited abundance. Each code supports and amplifies the others, creating a synergistic effect that is far more powerful than any single principle alone. Begin each day by activating these codes through conscious spiritual practice. Recognize that your supply comes from infinite source. Declare your abundance with authority and conviction. Give generously where you feel guided. Expect miraculous financial breakthroughs with joyful anticipation. Express genuine gratitude for all forms of abundance in your life. Trust in divine timing and perfect order. Maintain vibrational alignment with prosperity consciousness. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that spiritual principles must be lived, not merely studied. Your daily thoughts, words, and actions must reflect your understanding of these spiritual codes. When you face financial challenges, instead of reverting to old patterns of worry and fear, you activate the codes. You remember who you are, a spiritual being with unlimited access to divine supply. I am now living these spiritual codes fully and completely. My life demonstrates the truth of unlimited abundance in every area. This declaration becomes your reality as you consistently apply these principles regardless of external circumstances. The transformation that occurs through living these codes is not merely financial. It is a complete spiritual awakening to your divine nature as a creator being. You realize that you have never been separate from abundance, that you have always been connected to infinite supply, and that the only thing that ever stood between you and unlimited prosperity was your own consciousness. As you continue to practice and embody these 7 spiritual codes, you become a living demonstration of spiritual abundance principles. Your life becomes a testament to the truth that spiritual law governs all manifestation and that anyone who aligns with these laws can experience unlimited prosperity. Your financial transformation through these codes serves not only your own highest good, but also the highest good of all humanity. As you demonstrate the reality of spiritual abundance, you inspire others to discover their own divine creative power. You become a light of possibility in a world that desperately needs to remember its connection to infinite supply. The 7 secret spiritual codes that control financial abundance are now yours. Use them wisely, practice them consistently, and prepare to witness the miraculous transformation of your financial reality. Your abundance is not only possible, it is inevitable when you align with these eternal spiritual laws that Florence Scovel Shinn so brilliantly revealed. Step boldly into your prosperity. Your divine inheritance awaits.